Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring your favorite fictional characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is made possible by my Patreon supporters, and it's dedicated to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You're all the reasons why this keeps going. Join the Legion today at patreon.com/63rdlegion for free and help decide next week's new character. Joining my paid tiers allows you early access to my content, a shout out in my videos, homebrew D&D items for your games, and a chance to play some D&D in the Patreon community. We now have a Discord. It's just getting started, but we have some future plans coming, like events for Discord members and Patreon members. Today we're heading into the wasteland of Outworld. From Mortal Kombat, it's Erron Black. Born during the Wild West on Earthrealm, Erron was approached by Shang Tsung to work as a bounty hunter and mercenary for Outworld, and in return Shang Tsung would extend Erron's life, slowing down his aging to a crawl. Eventually Erron rose to be part of the Khan Guard, where he has served under multiple rulers. Though he has lived in Outworld for a century, Erron Black is still very much a cowboy in every way. He still carries his firearms and utilizes explosives, but also has learned to use things like acid taken from reptiles people, and a sword that is made from the forearm blade of a Tarkatan warrior. He also uses blinding sand grenades, hunting traps, and caltrops. The scariest part of Erron is his incredible patience. He can wait years before he finally fulfills a contract, planning the very moment he will strike, because he knows the perfect shot can only come at the perfect time. And believe me when I say, he will get the perfect shot, because he is, at his very core, a gunslinger. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything. We'll also be taking some weapons from the Dungeon Master Guide, but don't worry, they're not important for this build, so we'll also talk about the normal weapons you'll want. We'll also be using Tasha's Cauldron of Everything for a feat, but if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. We're using standard point array to keep things simple, and we are multi-classing, so watch those minimums if you use another system. Make Dex 15, Con 14, Strength 13, Wisdom 12, Intelligence 10, and we're going to be dumping Charisma with an 8 because no one really likes you. You're rude, your loyalty is always for sale, and you prefer to be alone. Erron is a human, resourceful, gives you a free inspiration dice at the end of a long rest if you don't already have one. Skillful grants you a free skill, take Perception. Versatile gives you a free Origin feat. For this feat, Alert adds your proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls and allows you to switch places in the initiative order with a willing ally before the start of combat if both of you are not incapacitated. To finish out your lineage, you know the language Common and 2 more of your choice. For background, place +2 into Wisdom and +1 into Strength. For your Origin feat, Skilled grants you proficiency in 3 skills or tools of your choice, and you're going to need a few things. Take proficiency in Smith's Tools, Tinkerer's Tools, and Alchemist Supplies. With these, you can now make caltrops, acid, hunting traps, firearms, ammunition, and a few more things. For skills, grab Deception and Persuasion. To finish out your background, you're going to need to talk to your DM on what proficiency you'll need to craft explosives. Personally, I would say Alchemist Supplies or a homebrew tool, but if they say Alchemist Supplies, grab Herbalism Kit or even the Poisoner's Kit, as both will work for you. Level 1 rogues start off with 4 skills. Take Athletics, Sleight of Hand, Stealth, and Intimidation. You are proficient in simple weapons, martial weapons with the light and finesse properties, light armor, thieves' tools, and the saving throws, dex, and intelligence. Expertise lets you choose 2 skills, and from now on, both those skills will have double proficiency bonus going forward. Place this into Intimidation and Persuasion to help because, damn, you're unlikable. Thieves' Cant grant you 2 more languages. First, the coded language Thieves' Cant, and a second of your choice. Sneak Attack is a bonus damage you can deal. Now, once per turn, when you attack with a ranged or finesse weapon, while you have advantage on the attack or have an ally within 5 feet of the target, you can add 1d6 to the damage, and this will get better. Weapon Mastery allows you to access special properties of your weapons that you use. At the end of a long rest, you choose 2 weapons you are proficient with, and now when you use them, you can use their special mastery property. For some weapon masteries you'll use, short swords or rapiers give you Vex. This gives you advantage on your next attack against a creature you've hit with this weapon before the end of your next turn. And that's it. You can't use firearms just yet, but if you want, just use crossbows. But don't worry, those come next. Level 1 Rangers begin with bonus proficiencies when you multi-class into them. You are now proficient in all weapons, medium armor, shields, and another skill, take Investigation. Spell casting is going to grant you some magic. You can now cast spells, you regain new spell slots at the end of a long rest, Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier, and you're starting off with 2 first level spells. Before that, Favored Enemy gives you a free spell with Hunter's Mark. Now you can mark a creature out to 90 feet with a bonus action. For 1 hour while you maintain this spell, you can deal an extra 1d6 force damage when you hit with a weapon. Also, you now have advantage on survival and perception checks to find them. If the creature dies before the spell ends, you can pass the mark on to another creature within 90 feet with a bonus action. Because you got this spell with Favored Enemy, you can cast it twice without a spell slot per long rest. Weapon mastery is the same, but now you have more weapons to choose from. For those weapons, Musket gives you slow. Now when you hit a creature with this weapon, you can slow their total speed by 10 feet till the start of your next turn, but they can never go under 10 feet with this. Pistol gives you Vex, which you've already talked about. If your DM is going to allow it, jump into the Dungeon Master Guide for a hunting rifle, which gives you slow, and a revolver, which gives you sap. This gives a creature you've hit with this weapon disadvantage on their next attack before the start of your next turn. There's also several more firearms in there that you might be good at. This is also where you're going to get Dynamite. For your spells, Longstrider adds +10 to your total movement for 1 hour. Cure Wounds heals you 2d8 plus your Wisdom modifier. Level 2 Rogues gain Cunning Action. Dash, Hide, and Disengage are bonus actions for you. Level 3 Rogues now have access to their subclass. Scout from Xanathars is going to make you a cowboy. Survivalist gives you the skills Survival and Nature, and then gives you expertise in both those skills. Skirmisher lets you move half your speed with a reaction when an enemy ends its turn within 5 feet from you, and this doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. Steady Aim is going to help with the sharpshooting. Now on a turn you haven't moved, you can use your bonus action to give yourself advantage on your next attack, but you reduce your speed to 0 until the end of your turn. Your sneak attack is now 2d6 extra damage. Level 4 Rogues earn our first ability score improvement. Let's grab a feat. Gunner from Tasha's is going to help you out greatly by making you a fast loader. First, it adds +1 to your dex and lets you ignore loading properties of firearms that you are proficient with, which this also gives you firearm proficiency if you don't already have it. Also, now being within 5 feet of an enemy no longer gives you disadvantage on ranged attacks. If your campaign isn't using firearms, take Crossbow Expert instead. It's basically the same, but adds in the fact that you can fire a hand crossbow more times. Now, if you are using more modern weapons that don't have a one-shot and then reload, you don't really need this feat, so you'll be able to change up this build slightly. We still have a few more feats that we really need to help you with the gunslinging, so you might just want to move those up if you drop this. Your character level 5, raise your proficiency bonus to +3. Level 2 Rangers learn a fighting style feat. For this feat, Archery adds +2 to your ranged attack rolls. Deft Explorer gives you another expertise in a single skill, place this into stealth. You also learn 2 more languages of your choice. For your new spell, Detect Poison and Disease helps your survival skills. Now for 10 minutes while you maintain the spell, you can detect the locations of poisons, poisonous or venomous creatures, and magical diseases within 30 feet of you. Level 3 Rangers now have access to their subclass. Hunter from the Player's Handbook is the perfect killer. Hunter's lore lets you know the vulnerabilities, resistances, and immunities of a creature you've targeted with your Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Prey grants you new features. Now when you finish a short or long rest, you can choose one of 2 features to activate. For these features, you can deal an extra 1d8 of damage when you hit with a weapon against a creature below full health, or give yourself a free attack when you use the attack action, but now you must choose a different target within 5 feet of the first target that you have attacked, and you cannot attack that creature before this attack. For your new spell, Goodberry is going to help you survive in the wasteland or never leave a spot while you wait for your target. 10 berries appear in your hand that will last for 24 hours. With a bonus action, you can eat one of these berries to heal you 1 HP, and this provides enough nourishment for a whole day. Level 4 Rangers earn another ability score improvement. Let's grab another feat. Sharpshooter, also from the player's handbook, adds +1 to your dex and then makes your shots better. Your ranged attacks now ignore half or 3/4 cover. Using your weapon's maximum range no longer is at disadvantage, and being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage, but you can already do that. If you're not going to take Gunner or Crossbow Expert, I would move this up to the first feat. For your new spell, take what you want. Level 5 Rangers receive extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. You can now cast Hunter's Mark 3 times without a spell slot per long rest. You also receive second level spells. For your new spell, Pass Without Trace adds +10 to your stealth checks and the stealth checks of everyone you choose within 30 feet of you for 1 hour while you maintain the spell. You've hit character level 9, bring your proficiency bonus to +4. Level 6 Rangers gain Roving. Your total speed when not wearing heavy armor is increased by 10 feet, and you now have a swimming and climbing speed equal to your walking speed. For your final spell, Protection from Poison gives you resistance to poison damage and gives you advantage on saving throws against poisons for 1 hour. This can also end the poison condition. Level 5 Rogues unlock Uncanny Dodge. Now, when you see an attack that causes you damage, you can use your reaction to halve the damage. Cunning Strike lets you add effects to your sneak attack by sacrificing damage dice from it. You can only add 1 effect per turn, and the DC for these effects is based on your dex. For those effects, Trip costs 1d6 and forces a strength save if they are a size large or smaller, dropping them prone if they fail. Withdraw costs 1d6, and after you deal damage, you can move half your total speed without provoking an attack of opportunity. Poison costs 1d6, and if you have the Poisoner's Kit, you can force a con save. If they fail, they gain the poison condition for 1 minute, and they can retake the save at the end of each of their turns. Your sneak attack is now 3d6 extra damage. Level 6 Rogues learn our final expertise. Place this into Athletics and Sleight of Hand. Level 7 Rogues now have Evasion. Now when you pass a dex save, you take no damage and only half on a failure. Reliable Talent is going to be really fun for you and not fun for your DM. Now any d20 test that you use a tool or skill you're proficient with, it can never be lower than 10 on the roll. And you have a lot of skills and tools. Your sneak attack is now 4d6 extra damage. You've hit character level 13, bring your proficiency bonus to +5. Level 8 Rogues earn another ability score improvement. Yeah, we're grabbing another feat for your guns. Piercer from the player's handbook is going to make your shots really hurt. First, it adds +1 to your dex, and now when you deal piercing damage, it will be improved. First, when you deal piercing damage, you can re-roll 1 damage dice, and when you score a critical hit that deals piercing damage, you can add an additional damage dice to the hit. Level 9 Scout Rogues gain superior mobility. Your speed is increased again by 10 feet, and this also counts towards your climbing and swimming speed. Your sneak attack is now 5d6 extra damage. Level 10 Rogues earn another ability score improvement, Cap Off Dex. Level 11 Rogues unlock Improved Cunning Strike. You can now add 2 Cunning Strikes per turn, but still must pay the cost for both. Your sneak attack is now 6d6 extra damage. You've reached the final milestone, character level 17. Max out your proficiency bonus at +6. Level 12 Rogues earn our final ability score improvement, Raise Wisdom for better tracking. Level 13 Scout Rogues are Ambush Masters. You now have advantage on initiative rolls. Also, now the first creature you hit the first round of combat becomes easier to hit for everyone else. Until the start of your next turn, all attacks against them are at advantage. Your sneak attack is now maxed out at 7d6 extra damage. Our final level is level 14 Rogues, and you get Devious Strikes. You gain more cunning strike effects to add to your sneak attacks. For these effects, days cost 2d6 and you force a con save, and if they fail, they can now only do one thing their next turn. They can either move, take an action, or take a bonus action. Obscure costs 3d6 and forces a dex save, blinding them if they fail for one turn. Knockout costs 6d6 and forces a con save. If they fail, they fall unconscious for 1 minute and may retake the save at the end of their turns or wake up if they take damage. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 14, Dex 20, Con 14, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 16, Charisma 8. Your total class levels are Ranger 6, Rogue 14. Let's dive in. You are a true gunslinger. Using a revolver, your attacks are plus 13, you're dealing 2d8 plus 5 plus 7d6, and you can add 1d6 of force damage and another d8 of damage if they are below full health. Your damage can be re-rolled, crit damage adds more, and you can add effects to your shots. Hell, your shots can go further than normal, meaning your revolver has a range of 120 feet and your hunting rifle has a range of 240 feet. You can even ignore half or 3/4 cover with no problem. Your skills are perfect. 5 of your skills are adding plus 12 before the modifiers. All your tools and skills can never be lower than 10 on the d20 test. Tracking is at advantage, and you can add plus 10 to your stealth checks. This means your stealth can never be lower than 37 on the rolls, and your tracking can never be lower than 25 while it's at advantage. Finally, you're ready for a lot of things. Your total speed is 50 feet, your initiative is plus 11, that's at advantage. You can detect poisons, protect yourself against poisons, can heal yourself, and finally can literally always have food and healing at the ready. Downside. Firstly, no one likes you. Your intimidation and persuasion have expertise and reliable talent to help them, but the modifier is still -1, making them your weakest skills. We also spent a lot of time making you deadly on the draw. We needed 3 feats to max out your dex and make your guns the best there is. Not really a problem to me, but it took a while, so I had to mention it. Finally, you're reliant on weapons. If you want, take Magic Initiative as an origin feat and clear that up. But all this means is you're just going to have to earn that gold to keep your supplies up. So head on out and hunt down your targets, because you're the best there is and no one ever escapes you. Ever. I'd like to thank my Artificer tier. Thank you John Martin, Christopher R. Hunter, Java Squirrel, and Daniel Saffler. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new build each week on YouTube and Spotify. And make sure to check out my Patreon where you can help decide next week's new character.